top of mind because I just want to feel like I'm just talking to you because that's what I'm going to do. I am really inspired. It's been really nice to come to an event and have people talk about passion and love and fear, because I feel like we live in a society which is based around fear, and we're taught it from a very early age. And we're based, even myself, we have perceptions of each other. When we sit on a train, like if I was walking down the street and I had a hood on and I was smoking a cigarette and I had baggy jeans on and some jeans, what would you think? How would you feel? You know? Yeah, you know, so these are all things that we're taught from birth. We're taught how to fear. Myself, I came from a one-parent family. I was raised by my mother. I didn't really have that much contact with my father until he died, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago, which was beautiful because I feel closer to him now than I have ever felt before. And I'm really at peace with that. And my mum's a very, very strong woman. And she raised us well. And within that, I went to music. I got into trouble at school, and then I got close to my music teacher, who was half Maori, who was from New Zealand. And the funny thing was, later on in time, I was round his house maybe about 5 years afterwards, because he's like one of my best friends, even though he's a lot older than me. And there's a picture with me and him in the same picture when I was 5 years old. And I had not met him till I was 11. And that really threw me, because he was teaching across the school, across the road from me, at that age. So life is weird and funny. But skipping all that, I studied music, entrepreneurship and music production at college, and then went on to university, which I wasn't planning to do, and studied the same there. And got through it, but I didn't have to do a lot of work because I was doing that anyway. But while I was there, I met a bunch of people who were in the business and doing the same thing. When I came out of that, during that whole time I was gigging, I was performing, I was recording. But the main thing that excited me was self, was telling the stories which I felt were true to myself, was writing from my perspective. As a child, I went to Jamaica a lot. That's my family background. And there I had rich family, I had poor family. I felt more at home in the ghetto. I felt more at home. It just felt raw and truer. We'd sleep on the same mattress, 3 or 4 of us. And it felt like, honestly, there were curfews, there were tanks going up and down the road, but it just felt honest. And that had always been in me, something that I couldn't explain. And so I went on and I continued. I got involved with a band called The Streets and recorded with them during their first album, and ended up having the opportunity to tour the world, performing in front of thousands of people. But also seeing a side to the industry that I didn't like. I came across loads of famous people who were not genuine, who were rude, who had attitudes, who didn't have the same moral aspects that I was brought up with or raised with. So I was with them for on and off 12 years, which was amazing, but also strange as well, because you're in something and not of it. They don't respect you it was weird. It was not the same love and respect that I would give. So I left that, and then I was signed to EMI for 2 years. And I had an album with them. And again, my message was I wanted to talk about things that were not just sex, not just money, not just based on that thing. And by that time, I had also discovered New Zealand and Australia and different places, and I fell in love with nature. And I'd never been around nature, I'd never been on a boat, I'd never seen a proper tree, I'd never seen the ocean properly. And it really stirred something in me. And then I got involved with a friend of mine who plays tongapora. Now tongapora is New Zealand instruments, so there's shells, flutes, and all of them have a traditional history. And that's what made me fall in love with New Zealand. And for me, that's what gave me a connection to Earth. I suddenly felt like I understood where I was at and what I was able to do, and the message that I wanted to give to people. And suddenly everything made sense. And then beyond that, I got involved with a guy called Nathan Haynes through MySpace, who was signed to Warner, and I wrote a song about pathways, about the land of New Zealand, about the people of New Zealand. And that ended up being the lead single for his album on Warner Records. I got invited back to do a tour, so I toured New Zealand, and then I left again. And then through Facebook, I never met another person who had their own record label, and she lives in Tarangi, which is like a valley forest. And I went over, and her and her husband went through something at a time. I'm not going to say what it was, but the way that they dealt with it, I'd never seen people deal with that, especially with a stranger. And we became like brother and sister. And since then, I've been going over there every 2 years, doing workshops with the British Council, with different artists out there and different young people. And the ethos has always been the same, of getting people to see that we are all the same. And we all live on this planet. And it is crazy when I think about, when I come back here, I just feel like I'm in hell, in a way. There's just the masses of people and how congested we are, the fact that we sit on trains and planes and we don't say anything to each other. It really jars me. And as a result of that, I've always taught alongside what I've been doing. So I currently teach on a course doing music production as well for people outside of education. What also saved my spirit is I got involved in working in a nursery. I was 1 minute performing to 75,000 people, next minute in a nursery in the same week. And how genuine those children were made me feel like that's what life is about. Life isn't about everything else. It's not about the Gucci. It's not about all these things and all these things that we attain and want to have. And life is an adventure. Because now I've started to, I recorded my album on my own, which I didn't know I was going to do. Which was strings, which were recorded in Sweden, some recorded in New Zealand, some recorded here, and that was an adventure with itself. And then I curated events. So I launched at the Roundhouse, which I did myself, and then sold that out again. And now I'm going to be doing a show at the Roundhouse every month with them, with other artists. So there's loads of different things that are happening around that and around me kind of exploring, and I'm setting up dates around the UK for other artists and myself. And I think there is a lot of truth in facing fear and dealing with fear. And to me, that is the adventure. My life has definitely been not knowing what's going to happen next. And for me, I'm excited about that because in some ways, I'm the master of my own destiny. I get to carve out what takes place. Yeah, that's me. Okay, I'm going to sing the title track for my album. You've not heard me with an instrument, but I play keys, I play guitar, and I produce, which means I put all the music together. This is a song called Hope Star. It's the title track for my album. Walk, it's time to stand upright, just like birds take flight. Nature promises, so we learn how to read and write. Love and flight, dark and light. So I sift between the lies and truth. I read lines in you. Nature promises that in time I will understand how you feel and stand. In the night I see a star. Yeah, 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 yeah. You know I see a hope star, a hope star, a hope star. I'm looking for the stars, yeah, 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 yeah. I know I've seen a hope star, a hope star, a hope star. I turn my line into a lighter space, so I'm governing. With times I have fallen, every hair has a place of its own. But if it don't grow, there's no point in hiding. No rewind, just this now in time. This is to climb. When I'm going sailing, I will share all the fish that I've caught. If you like the fire, now the night sky is wild. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know I've seen a hope star, a hope star, a hope star. I'm looking for the stars, yeah, 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 yeah. a hope star, a hope star, a hope star, hope star. So you see, so you are, I'm not frightened of the truth. Every man will lose his youth, not counting minutes or the seconds or the hours. I'm not looking for myself in the fears that no one else. As you repeat and repeat, I recycle. I only love how you want me to fight you. Right now I declare a moment of change, and if every man looked at his ways, we'd see the stars. Thank you.